really happy to be here and to kind of go with you on a continuous improvement journey using an open decision framework. I have two important notes, disclaimers, right? So the first one is that as of September 1st, so 1 month, I changed companies and I started working as an Agile coach at Hexagon. But this talk is basically my work as an Agile coach at Red Hat, where I spent 6+ years. Okay, so that's the first note. The second note, personal note, is that I usually don't like when people talk about Agile transformation. I don't know why, I always see transformers coming, right, and doing something. And when we see this, or when I see this Agile transformation being talked and all that, I always look at that before and after situation. So before we are bad, and then after we are transformed and everything is great, and so I don't like it. Or even worse, when we discuss frameworks or whatever, and it comes that you put your Spotify belt on, right? Yeah, let's go and let's follow what Spotify did, and we'll be great. So I really believe in continuous improvement journey, right? We have to remember Agile is never supposed to be any destination, right? So continuous improvement journey, and that's what we are trying to do at Red Hat with all the teams that we worked with. So you will see me talking about a lot about continuous improvement journey, and I don't like the term Agile transformation so much. Maybe I read in some article the person calling it Agile evolution, right? So you are evolving, and you never stop evolving, so that's good too. All right, and when we talk about the great Agile transformations, how they usually work, maybe you are familiar with that. I sure am, right? So it's really top-down approach from the leadership, right? The leadership, the management, the C-level is saying we need to be agile because, I don't know, other companies are doing. We need to do it, right? So usually they don't even understand the why, but they saw it somewhere. And that was my actual experience before Red Hat. I worked at a, bigger company, 300,000 employees, and that was what happened. Well, we're going to have Agile transformation for everyone. Let's go, right? That's very, very interesting. So that's the first thing, right? So the Agile transformations come, usually top-down, we're going to do this Agile transformation, and that's it. And then, with that comes some demands from management, from leadership. First one usually is training, right? Okay, so we're going to start this transformation, and you have 2 months to watch all these videos about Agile, and we're going to track it. That's actually the experience that I have. So we're going to track all these videos, and you have to report. Or if it's not the online videos about Agile, maybe you have to go to this 2-day Scrum training, or SAFe training, or I don't know, some kind of training, right? So the leadership is demanding that you do some training. The next part is when there's discussion of frameworks. And here, in our company, everything is going to be Scrum. Or here, in our company, everything's going to be SAFe. Because we, the leadership, the management, we know everything, and that's how it's going to happen. The other demand, usually, is that the leadership, management, is just saying, you have to adhere to all this. You cannot question Scrum. Why? No, we decided, and that's how it's going to go. So just follow it. Please don't question it. The other thing that leadership usually is doing, of course, asking for results. Right? So we're going to do embark in this Agile transformation, and, we need to see some results. Sometimes leadership has no idea why they are doing it, but they are expecting some results. And results may vary, right? So, we need to see velocity. We need to check story points. It's never about value. It's these things that come with all these frameworks. But for me, the funniest one is the last one. When leadership goes and talks about agile transformation, they're always expecting a project plan. They need to know when the transformation will be finished, right? Because, well, there's a start, and you do the work, and then in the end, you are transformed. So that's usually the funny part where you talk about agile transformation. Leadership, of course, demands a project plan to understand what's happening. So that's good. Changing a little bit from the experience from Red Hat. Some points here, I would say, could be similar, but a lot of the stuff that we try to do, it's really coming from the bottom up, right? So to start with, giving some idea about Red Hat. Red Hat is an open source company, a lot of products that actually work with the community, right? So we have the product and we have the open source product. For example, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, you have Fedora and so on and so forth. When I started at Red Hat 6 years ago, I was focused on Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So when I joined the team of Agile coaches, Scrum Masters, we were 6 people. And throughout the years, I hope that we did something good to the company, because last year, I think we were probably 38. So what happened is, people start noticing that Red Hat Enterprise Linux, well, something different is happening there. Maybe we want to look and see what is happening, right? So what is that they are doing differently? So kind of that's the idea, right? So it started really small with 6 coaches working with some of the teams at Red Hat Enterprise Linux. People noticing, oh, there's something good here. Oh, maybe we should hire an Agile coach for our product or for our team. And then it started building, and then last year, I think the count was 30-something, 38. And we started being involved in more products, right? So not only had Red Hat Enterprise Linux. And then, after all this, we started thinking about the continuous improvement journey for all the products. And so, question to you, how many of you, before my talk or before looking at this, saw something about the Open Decision Framework? Raise your hand. There is 1 hand, 2 hands, okay. Open Decision Framework was actually created by Red Hat in 2016, and as Red Hat is an open source company, the Open Decision Framework is really a process, right? So a 4-step process or phases that helps with the open decision-making process. The funny part of this is it also looks like waterfall, but regardless. This is something that we at Red Hat used to actually start our continuous improvement journey. And how it started, actually. I'm going to kind of highlight all these steps. The first part of this is that, well, we want to embark on this continuous improvement journey. Who wants to help us, right? So a call for volunteers. And this was done by management, right? With the support of other people. But there was a call for volunteers, right? Management is calling for volunteers to do this. So 100 plus people said, yeah, I would like to participate in this. 22 people were selected. I was one of those. And important to notice here, the diverse group, right? So here, we are talking about volunteers as software engineers, Scrum Masters, Agile coaches, managers. There were some directors and even one senior vice president. So this was the group to work on and start discussing how Red Hat wanted to work with this continuous improvement journey with the product teams. Right? So as you can see from here, it's not coming from management, management is coming with, well, who wants to join, right? And from this call of volunteers, we started working October of last year, September of last year, this 22 people together discussing, and what came out of that work is that we created some, let's say, Agile evolution artifacts, right? So there was an Agile vision statement, so we wrote it down what we wanted to achieve with that continuous improvement journey, which would be our Agile evolution. Discussed roles and responsibilities, training, and enablement. So we created all these artifacts, all these 22 people, like with different scopes, different roles in the company. We created that. And I think for me, the next part is the most important point of the open decision framework, because it's when we talk about rounds of feedback. So I will give the example only on the Agile vision statement. With the Agile vision statement, and just so you know, this Agile vision statement is not something fancy. It was a Google Doc with topics and things that we wanted to cover. That was all that we created. Then we put this to the people. First, it was only for us, the 22 people in this, let's say, team that was working on this continuous improvement journey. And then you can see here, with that document, there were 22 unique viewers. So good, everyone contributed to validating what was there. 43 comments, 55 replies. Right, so people were engaging in that document, giving ideas, what they don't like, what could be changed. Well, you get it. Then the next step, version 2, well, let's open up for everyone impacted and that would like to provide some feedback on our continuous improvement journey. Then the version 2, then it changed a little bit. Then we had 502 unique viewers. So 500 people going to that document, checking, reading, and then providing 113 comments, 239 replies. Right? So anyone in the company, junior software engineer, interns, directors, reading what was there, providing input for us, the 22 people, that maybe some things would not make sense, maybe some things, we could change. And there was this iteration, some comments that made sense, we would incorporate in a document. Others maybe wouldn't make sense, we don't do it. But it's open for everyone to provide feedback. And of course, it changed a lot. And we go with another round. The vision statement version 3, 121 unique viewers, a lot more comments, a lot more replies. And then we iterate and we start again. And this is not even starting our improvement journey. This is where we are discussing how we want to proceed. So we open, and this is only the examples from the vision statement. As you saw, we had the roles and responsibilities, training and enablement, where we did the same. But I don't have the statistics for that, but it's the same, right? So it started small and then open for everyone to provide feedback. And that's usually something that let's say, a lot of companies, when they are doing agile transformations, that's never the case, right? So it's like, you're going to do this, just follow it. Oh, but do I have a say in, can I provide? No, you follow, right? So this, I think it was really, really impactful, and it really helped shape how Red Hat would proceed. And then in March, February, right, of this year, we started working with some health checks and service with some specific teams, some pilot teams, already focusing on the journey itself. But then, I don't know if you're aware, Red Hat had some layoffs. And as you would expect with layoffs, right, so things change. And all I can say is that, of course, this impacted the journey. So, and I think that's all I can say at the moment. But the takeaways here for you, if you're talking about agile transformation or any kind of transformation, involve the people before deciding, right? The people impacted are the ones that gonna tell you things that maybe you could do better. Engagement from the people impacted is really important, is key. And the ODF, Open Decision Framework, will support that, right? So with that process. The best ideas might never come from leadership, right? They might think that they are the clever ones, but when you are in like this situation, really open, the best idea might come from that junior software engineer that is just completely thinking outside of the box. Right, so that's important to notice. Last but not least, don't change your organizational structure if you're embarking in a transformation journey. Because if you do that, you are really putting at risk how you want to proceed. Right, so you do something, you are saying, yeah, let's go for this journey, and then something big happens and there's all this structure change, so I would not recommend that. That's definitely not good. And of course, everything related to the Open Decision Framework is on GitHub for everyone to just check and use, right? So open source. And with that, thank you very much. I think we still have some time for questions.
So we have quite a few questions. So the first question is, how is the training and enablement from volunteers different from training demanded by the leadership?
Good question. All right, so in this case, we had the normal, let's have Scrum training or whatever Kanban training, because we did have already a set of trainings prepared. But what we did is we asked people, what is actually lacking? What would you like as training that we could maybe help you and provide? So then people start putting ideas like, hey, maybe we need, we are poor with prioritization. Wouldn't it be cool to have a prioritization workshop? So we mark it down as ideas, right? So, maybe, we are lacking, communication skills or something, dependencies, or whatever. We would take this as feedback and see if it would be feasible to do the training. So the difference is we were asking people what they were missing as part of training and enablement, and we would be able to kind of, with that information, target how we would use the training efforts.
So thank you. So the second question, how long did it take to decide on the vision statement that way? Do you think that was optimal or efficient way to do that?
So the vision statement, it could be really something easy, right? The vice president would come, that's our vision, we follow it. Probably would be quick, but we would not get buy-in. We did spend a lot of time on that, right? So I would say probably 2 months with the volunteers, discussing the 22 volunteers, and another 1 month and a half opening for that. I think the time was well spent because after that, the majority of the people impacted at least knew where we were going. Not all, of course, provided feedback, but they knew what was happening. They knew that if they wanted, they could go there and read and provide all the feedback. They could go there, this sucks, and it's okay. They could go there and say that, right, or write that. So from a time perspective, it could be quicker if we just, a vice president comes, this is our Agile vision statement, go and follow it. But then what we try to do is spend time to get the buy-in from people and get them share what they like and what they did not like about what we're trying to do. And of course, it would take time.
Okay, so the last question, do you think, a short one, do you think changing way of work can be done both top-down and bottom-up?
Change by?
Changing way of work, or the changes like this one could be done both in the top-down and bottom-up simultaneously at the same time.
Oh, interesting question. I think in terms of change, is not about top-down or bottom-up. To me, it's more important how you are working with the people impacted by the change. That can be top-down, like a vice president, we are going in this direction, but then the people on the top needs to be open to receive feedback, some kind of feedback, right? Because it's very easy, like I'm the CEO and say we're going to this direction and you follow it and I don't hear anything from you because I am the CEO. So shut up and do it. To me, it can be both, but the part of engagement and the buy-in from people is, I think, what is the best way. So really, top-down or bottom-up, the most important part for me is really how you engage the impacted people from whatever transformation that you're doing.
Okay, thank you very much, Fernando.
All right, thanks. Thanks for the questions.